What's up, everybody? Yield curve, whoa, the yield curve. Yeah, that's what all the talk is. Stock's up 140 today. They were up higher, they were up less. They closed up 140. Kind of rallied into the close, not bad. So the yield curve, that's still the big story out there. And, well, I gave you my explanation. I think it really has to do with the debt ceiling. The debt ceiling has limited, or I shouldn't even say limited, it has stopped the issuance of new Treasury securities. And there is a massive demand which is not being met. So it is distorting the shape of the yield curve. The U.S. Treasury securities are the most ubiquitous financial instruments in the whole world. All right, everybody needs them. Banks need them. Financial institutions need them. Pension funds need them. Individuals need them. Countries need them. Okay? That's the store of value. That's where dollars are parked, earning some interest. And when the government says, hey, we're not going to issue any more treasuries, and there's a constant demand for them, a growing demand at all times. When you think about it, the U.S., what's the U.S. trade deficit right now? It's at record levels or near record levels. So the amount of dollars being held outside by the rest of the world is at record levels. They need some place to put it. There are no new treasuries, so it's distorting everything. All right? So you got that going on. And I don't think it has anything to do with recession, and I don't think it's going to create a recession. And I think the selling of the banks, the shares of banks, is kind of ridiculous. As I mentioned in my last video, bank capital, that means bank wealth, assets minus liabilities, is at an all-time record high. And it's been shooting up in the last few weeks exactly as everybody has been selling the bank stocks. It's been shooting up to all-time record highs. Shooting up. So I just think it's another one of these crazy episodes like last November and December. And speaking of that, I went back and I watched some of my videos from that period, and I read the comments, and everybody like, Norman, you're wrong again. Look, the market's going down. Well, who's got the last laugh? Huh? Who's got the last laugh? And it's not because I'm a perma bull. I said, maybe later this year in October, if we get these massive budget cuts that Trump wants in his budget, and when the Fed stops the roll-off completely, that might be it for a while. We might finally get that bear market, but it's not happening now. And the economy is not going into recession now. I really don't see the evidence that the economy is going into recession. As a matter of fact, the things that I see starting from maybe late January, early February into now, everything is on a re-acceleration. All right. One comment I want to make, or one observation, again, a comment, a critique, a criticism of MMT by, of course, somebody from the Fed, Janet Yellen. Is it Janice Yellen or I forget. Janice Yellen, former Fed chairman. Another one. Oh, MMT, it's no good, it's stupid, it's going to cause inflation. First of all, they talk about it as if it is a policy. It is not a policy. It is a description of how the monetary system functions. All right? But right away they go to the inflation aspect. And MMTers never automatically assume there's going to be an inflation. And they say if there is an inflation problem, you can cut spending or you can raise taxes. That's the way to regulate that eventuality if it happens. But what's interesting that I find is that all of these people, particularly the ones from the Fed, and Janet Yellen, she is classic because she has said many times, like, we don't understand inflation. We don't really know. Well, I'll tell you where it comes from. It comes from you at the Fed, because ultimately inflation is about price setting. And if there is a monopolist in the equation, which there is, the U.S. government or the government, who is the issuer of the currency and who has the capacity or the ability or the mandate to set interest rates, that setting of rates, that is the most crucial price in the economy. And when the Fed raises rates, it raises the general price level, because all the price of all goods and services reflect the cost of credit. And when the cost of credit goes up because the Fed is raising interest rates, they create an inflation. She doesn't know that. She's like, oh, we don't know what causes inflation. So how can you listen to anything that comes out of these people's mouths? How can you? I have no idea. Because they really are clueless. They really have no idea what they are talking about. Zero idea about what they are talking about. We don't know what causes inflation. Well, why do you think Japan has had zero inflation for 20 years? Because they have zero interest rates, negative interest rates, as a matter of fact. And they have, quote unquote, printed trillions upon trillions, quadrillions of yen into the banking system. They have bankrupted their banks with all this enormous dumping of reserves onto their bank balance sheets, and they have no inflation. No inflation. They're still wondering, like, how are we going to get inflation up? Raise the interest rate and it'll get up right away because you raise the price level. And keep raising the interest rate, inflation will keep going up. So that's what you're dealing with here, folks. That's what you're dealing with. Now, I got people who tell me, well, I looked at your thing, I got no use, I cannot put this to use. That is the same thing as saying, I told you before, I cannot put MMT to use. So we take out the acronym MMT and you substitute in there, I cannot use the proper understanding of the functioning of the monetary system to my benefit. Now, anyone who is in a financial occupation, who is managing money or trading or has any fiduciary responsibility over money, either theirs or somebody else's, who says that is a total idiot. A total idiot. Okay? And basically exposes the fact that they don't understand and they do not want to understand. It's beneath them, or it's a hassle, or it's a chore to try to understand it. So I'd rather just say, this is not going to be, I'd rather you tell me, you know, Mike, this stuff sucks. It is terrible. I hate it. Take your damn service and goodbye. But please, don't tell me I cannot make any use out of this. Because you know what? You look like a fool when you say something like that. You look like a complete moron when you say something like that. Better off to just tell me, you know, your service sucks. You don't know what you're talking about. Fine. I'd rather have that. Anyway, have a great rest of the day, folks. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.